Hey, I'm Asher. Welcome to Flexible Dieting Consultants. This is day 6 of the Macro Pantry Challenge. Like the previous 5 days, I'm going to hit my macros using only what I had in my refrigerator and my pantry before the challenge started. So let's jump into my breakfast and my lunch and my dinner and my wild cards to hit my macros for today. So for the exciting news today, I'm actually filming this on a real tripod, so the camera's not like jammed up in my spice rack. So that's the technology wrinkle for today. The second part to note, and I don't think I've mentioned this in previous videos, I didn't go out the day before and buy a bunch of stuff, so things are getting real slim in the refrigerator. I'm really having to piece some meals together, so as you'll see the foods that I laid out for today, I'm really just grabbing at straws here what I have left in the refrigerator to hit my macros for the day. For breakfast, I'm keeping it pretty simple. Got a couple packets of quick cook steel cut oats that I'm going to have. Obviously the fish oils that I've been having every day. Should mention, I don't take all 6 of these in the morning. I do 3 in the morning, 3 at night, but I plug them into my macro tracking app using just putting 6 in the morning. And then for protein source, I'm actually going to separate out the egg whites and eat just plain egg whites for a good part of the protein for the day. So similar to yesterday, I'm going to cook once and eat twice. I had a couple things in the refrigerator, asparagus and mushrooms that I wanted to use up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a good part of my fat for the day, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 grams of coconut oil. I'm going to saute the vegetables in the coconut oil. Once the pasta is done cooking, I'm going to add that along with some of the cooking liquid to stretch the coconut oil along with the cooking liquid into a sauce to cover both the noodle and the vegetables. So that'll be lunch and dinner. So today, the wild cards, I'm going to have a packet of the 94% fat-free popcorn, which is about 100 calories. And I'm also going to make a post-workout shake with some root beer and some vanilla whey. So I'm going to try my hand along with some ice to make sort of a root beer float as a post-workout. So it may be a disaster, but I'm always looking to try something new to replicate something that I like otherwise that normally can't fit in my macros. So that's how I hit my macros today. Nothing too fancy. I just grabbed a couple ingredients, the asparagus and the mushrooms that I didn't want to waste, and figured out a way along with a couple pantry items to stretch that into 2 meals. I also got my wild cards in there, which were pretty standard. And then for breakfast, I had a dozen eggs that are going to go bad in a week. I don't use a lot of eggs, any more than 1 or 2 or 3 per day. So I figured, hey, let's just go ahead and use those before they go bad, so I'm not being wasteful with those either. And then obviously the steel cut oats, which is just a general staple for me in the pantry. So that's how I'm going to hit my macros today. I'll see you tomorrow for the last day of the Macro Pantry Challenge.